Hello, everyone, and welcome to this little session in which we're going to talk about the importance of and the role that adverse media plays into an effective KYC solution. My name is Logtenberg. I'm the co-founder and head of operations for Datastreamer, a company that works to make it easy to integrate and enrich external data into your products. And to speak on this topic, I brought with me the expert. This is Toby from Opoint. Toby?
Hi everyone, I'm Toby Cook. I'm head of adverse media and risk at Opoint. We are a web crawling company that delivers news solutions to KYC, among other things.
Awesome. So Toby, let's just dive right into it. What is KYC?
So KYC is Know Your Client, sometimes referred to as AML, which is anti-money laundering, but it's basically a part of the compliance function within historically financial organizations, but that's spreading out, that allows them to check they know their customers when they're signing onto a financial arrangement with them, to make sure that their customers aren't involved in criminal activity such as fraud and terror financing and money laundering.
Yeah, and so you mentioned finance specifically. Is who kind of within a finance or other organizations needs to think about KYC and adverse media?
So finance companies will generally have compliance teams that are responsible for the KYC and AML function, but that's spreading these days into any areas where KYC and AML money laundering is a risk. So that's obviously insurance companies, cryptocurrency firms need to do that. Increasingly gambling platforms and even art galleries, I've heard, are having to do that, because obviously if someone walks in with a wheelbarrow full of money to buy some art, they could be a connoisseur or they may be doing something else.
For sure. I can understand that. So if it's spreading to all these different kinds of industries, what would you say you see as a big challenge around adverse media adoption and KYC adoption in general?
So historically, people have thought in London that if you read the FT or in New York, if you read the Wall Street Journal, you're fine and you're up to date with the news. And to an extent, that's true. But if you're looking at a KYC and AML point of view, it's not good enough to have just read the major global famous brands, because to an extent, by the time the story gets into those publications, it's too late. So you need to pick up stories using adverse media sources that are broader and deeper, go wider, capture trade press, local publications, regional publications right around the world, not just in English, but in whatever the local languages are in the countries that you're operating. And we offer, we believe, the most complete solution to adverse media that's available on the market. And that type of breadth and depth of coverage is really what you need these days.
When you kind of mention, going into different languages around the world, Opoint kind of has an international coverage then?
Yeah, so we capture news from 220 countries in 120 languages, up to 4 million stories a day. So if it happens, we know about it and can tell you about it.
Awesome. So, one of the things I remember us speaking about before too was kind of some of the difficulties that companies have around integration. And I wanted to kind of touch on that as well as, so when companies are trying to bring in these sources, what is kind of the main technical struggle they have? So from a business side, from a value standpoint, it's very kind of concrete what adverse media does and how that plays into the organization. What happens when it goes into technical and becomes a project?
So sure, and it's very easy for me to say, yeah, we've got the most complete solution on the planet, and it's a very different matter for our customers to integrate it. One of the issues they face is that adverse media is just one string on their bow, if you like, of the types of information that they need to bring in. And there are many other types of information, and integrating them all together is very difficult. And a lot of our customers find there are challenges around integrating that in a seamless way with all their other sources.
Yeah, actually, it's great that you mentioned that, because that's actually something that Datastreamer can help with. Because as I mentioned earlier, what we focus on is the easy integration of and enrichment of that external data into the products of different companies, the AML products and whatever. So what essentially we do in that kind of situation, and this is why we're so happy to have you guys as a partner as well, is we can enable the companies that are trying to build these solutions to strip out about 95% of that effort to bring in the different sources and to merge them together in a federated manner and enrich them to be able to feed those different detection systems or the different alerting systems or monitoring systems within there. One of the things that also is something that we've actually seen a lot of excitement about in the recent time is even the ability to say, hey, I'm bringing in a whole number of different sources, but also that there's a level of enrichment that I want to do to them. So you mentioned kind of international coverage there of the 220 countries. You know, one of the different elements present is translation. In real time, we need to bring that down to English because our detection system only has English keywords or elements like that, right? So that's very exciting to talk about. Now, obviously, when you hear about these projects, you think there's a cost. But there always seems, especially in something like this, it almost feels like there's a cost to do nothing. Is there not?
Yeah, and that's absolutely right. And frankly, the cost to do nothing so outweighs the cost of action that it's becoming a no-brainer. The financial organizations are being clamped down on by the regulators around the world in every jurisdiction, and the fines that are being handed out are, I mean, for the layman, the numbers are colossal. A bank in London was recently fined nearly £250,000. A certain American T1 bank has been fined over $1 billion. So really, failure is not an option, as I believe somebody once said. You really have to do this. 100%.
And I can definitely see that regulation that currently applies to finance will likely spread to becoming very much a global and cross-industry type element as well. Well, thanks so much for answering these kinds of quick questions. This was an awesome data dialogue that we have here. For anyone that's kind of watching this, if you're interested in learning more about Opoint, in the description of this video, there's going to be more links to Opoint as well as Toby's LinkedIn URL if you'd like to kind of reach out to Toby directly. For myself, link is going to also be there for Datastreamer as well as myself. I'm Tyler Logtenberg. And we look forward to answering any further questions that you have and seeing if we can help you with the different solutions in play. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Tyler.